Right, so I got a little bit more streaming time. So I thought we would get into it. So we were playing around with this JSON storage and we talked about interfaces, how the state layer doesn't care about how things are stored, only that it is stored. So JSON storage might not be the best name because it really means local storage. So we're going to call it local storage. And then it just happens to be, is that an actual thing, local storage? Yeah. Sorry. Local storage. Browser local storage. And then Electron local storage. Oh, excuse me. So let's see how we would put this together. So in the main file, we need to create the actual storage we want. So now Electron actually just uses the whole web app. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna check. This is interesting. You know what? We're not even gonna check it here. We're gonna do it inside the env. Because it doesn't matter. Let's see. So local storage would be local storage. And we're just going to say this.local storage equals is electron new electron local storage or new browser local storage. Cool. I'm not sure. Oh, the namespace. Let's put that in constants. Local storage namespace. Divergent Todos. Let's see. There we go. Not sure. Oh, yeah. So we need to create. Oh my god. The actual interface for this. And this is also interesting because this interface is, it's definitely bound to oh, this is an interesting thing. Like we have this generic implementation of storage, but then there is something very specific that we are going to store. Yeah, I'm actually not sure about like having one object. It makes it harder. Yeah, you know what? We're not going to do this. We're not going to do that. We're just going to set any item, unknown or whatever. Well, sorry, it's still going to be... Oh, how are we going to do this? So whenever I want to set something, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, sorry. So the point, yeah, sorry. Yeah. So Oh, I didn't think this through. So I want this to just be this. And it doesn't have to extend object. The whole point is just to be able to set something, but it's gonna stringify it, but it's not gonna do this thing. It's not gonna be a partial, it's just gonna, stringify the thing we're passing in. And not like item, but value. That's a weird thing to say. Oh, because we call it item. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Why did they call it item? Oh. So we're gonna set the item with this namespace, and we're also gonna give it a key. Yeah, we're gonna do that. Key string. Okay, this is how I want it to work. So this would be a mix of this dot namespace dot key, key, and then get key string. Yeah, sorry. Key string. And then again, this namespace dot key. Cool. Yeah, I think this is how I want it to work, because we're not going to set local storage here. We're just going to use local storage where we need it, I think. Or do I want to create? No. Oh, this bothers me. I can't believe this is the stuff I get stuck in. Because the point is that there's different parts of the code that needs access to this local storage. But the point is that I don't want one local storage where I define the type. I just want to create. I want to create a, yeah, you know what? This is not what I want. What I want is create T. So the point of creating a local storage is to namespace it, right? But then I want to create like a getter and a setter based on the type I want for it. So this is going to return. Yeah. This is what I want. Let's see. So create would be the T. So there is no T here. And this is just going to return these two. Oops. And then, yeah, sorry. So namespace, what's this namespace? So what I could do here, like every little detail is like an API design for me. It's crazy. So what we could do is, no, this is gonna be it. I'm not gonna do anything more with it. Let's see. And this is gonna return, yeah. Let's see, create. Then return. Oops. Key string. value t. Yeah, whatever. So the point is we're still going to create local storage here. Local storage. And it's going to have the local storage namespace, but now I can actually create like I instantiate it where I need it. It's not like I'm passing around like this local storage thing. I'm rather creating an instance of it where I need it. My God. But what if I want to share that state? No, we're going to try this first. Let's see. So authentication needs local storage. So let's do this, local storage. And authentication needs local storage. And then, yeah, and then this actually needs to be, oh my God. So local storage instance. Like why? But why am I doing? It's because of the namespace. That's why I'm doing this. So we have local storage and then local storage instance, and then we're gonna say that this is gonna have local storage instance, and well, wait a minute. What the hell am I doing? I'm saying this is the value, but that means I can. This does make no sense at all. I do think I want this to be extends object, and then this will be key of t. And this would be yeah. You'll just have to let me do this. So u extends key of t. Oh my God. U, and this would be tu. And get, again, this would be u extends key of t. Oops, not key of, but this would be u, and then this would be tu or null. Do I actually need to create these things? Like, aren't these already typed? No, I do have to type it. Create t u extends key of t. Oh my God. This is the thing I hate about interfaces, is that I have to recreate. Even if I say that I'm implementing local storage, I have to create all the typing and everything again. It's really strange to me. Do I have to do record string unknown? No, for fuck's sake. Why? Yeah, but I'm saying it's a string. This is also really weird. Key of T should be string. But for some reason, yeah, whatever. Do, 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 do. So this would just, this would just be key of T. We don't need, oh yeah, we do. U string. They also have to type it here. This is the thing I don't quite understand. Like, yeah, why do I have to double type it? It's so weird to me. Why, oh why, oh why? Anyways, that took way too much time. Not sure why I get so hung up on this. I just do. So the point is, now we can create an entry for local storage, which is as previously signed in. The point here is that we want to know if you've signed in. Do we really care about that? Yeah. Has previously signed in. That's a Boolean. So this .local storage would be depths create. Yeah, and that's a thing. Like, do we really need to? There's something where I think it infers the type. If I just do this, yeah, exactly. We don't actually have to. But then again, it's nice to have. Let's call this steps. Cool. And the whole reason we did all of this stuff is because we want to know whenever we get a user, we're going to set that we actually have a user. And we're also going to make sure that this thing is going to be set by, as previously signed in, would be this.local storage get as previously signed in or false. Oh, yeah, it's fucking async. Oh. That sucks. That really sucks. OMG. Wow, this is such a rabbit hole. We really need that value immediately. But in Electron, the API is async. And like practically we don't need it in Electron because we never show the landing page. So I'm like making this way more complicated than what it needs to be. So this goes all the way back up to even initializing the app. So it's like there's async initialization of the state here because we need this to even be able to render the app, because we need to know if you actually previously signed in. So we know what we're going to show. Should we show the landing page or should we show the app? This is crazy. But the right way to do this is to actually like suspend it or something, so that we don't actually show anything. But that's so annoying, isn't it? That we can't immediately display what we want to display. Well, it is the way it needs to work. So this is actually a query where we go to, yeah, actually we need, oh my God. Query of Boolean. So local storage, and then we say has previously signed in. Previously signed in is a query of this.local storage get as previously signed in. Why doesn't this work? Oh, or null. Yeah, and then when we render out the app, we have to suspend this. And then we have to figure out what to do. Like, I guess we should just display like some kind of, like, the point is that it's technically async. Practically, it's not async. It's like it is immediate, but yeah. This is very interesting. And then the question becomes, do you want to have queries all the way inside here? I guess you don't want that. So this would be, yeah, a promise of Boolean or null. Well, we can make it, sorry, we can make it a promise of Boolean, and then we just have to say has previously signed in is this.local storage get and then in the actual state, that's where we make it a query. But this is fascinating stuff. And I'm making it so overcomplicated. Like, I don't, like, the code isn't overcomplicated, but I'm like really embracing the different layers. But it is complex. Like, there has to be something for Electron here to evaluate. And if I just use local storage, that wouldn't work. And then you can argue about like the abstraction of like local storage instance and all of this stuff. The thing I'm worried about is that what if you want to access the same local storage across different like instances? Does it make more sense to have like one local storage? Which layer defines the type? Is it the state layer that says yeah, I'm wondering if I think that's the trickiest part. It's like if you have a strict UI state environment layer, it always becomes a question of where do I put it? Which layer does it belong to? It's the same thing with just UI and state. It's like, does this state belong in a component or does it belong in the state layer? I'm just wondering if there's any like internal part of the environment that really needs local storage, or if that's something that should be handled by the state layer. Yeah, because this doesn't matter, has previously signed in. Well, the thing that matters is that, well, it depends where I want to do it, right? So the only thing that really knows about a user being signed in is this auth state changed, which is deep inside here. And that means that if I'm going to change this value, I would correctly change it here when I actually know that I have a user. But I could also just sign in and then immediately at the state layer where I'm actually signing in authentication, I would this is this is what's bad about object-oriented code. Is like it's so subjective how you think about domains and responsibilities. So a way different way to do this is that we don't do authentication like this. What we do is that we have kind of like this Firebase kind of environment thing. I could do that. I could make Firebase an environment thing. So it initializes Firebase, exposes Firebase, and then in the state, it actually does all of this stuff. But that means that the state knows about Firebase. And I don't really want that. So that's why I'm hiding the Firebase specifics inside the environment, so that if I were to change the authentication layer, I can just re-implement that. And the app and the state and everything would still just work. But now it's like, but now state, we have state in the environment as well. It's like, do I just return, like, do I just do this authentication, return this and authentication? Why is that environment? Why don't I implement that? Like, what's left here? The to-dos would be, yeah, so that's the thing, is like, oh my god. So if we talk about storage, this is so difficult. You can talk about storage. So you can have an environment interface that has a storage, which allows you to like create something, delete something, update something, right? It doesn't know about Firebase collections or anything like that. But it does need a reference to somewhere to store something. So the question is, should you then have a storage that says add to do? Or should you just have storage that says add, add entity or whatever? And then it's up to the state layer to define what to do's and profiles and everything are. But then the authentication internally needs to know about the profiles collection of Firebase. So then that doesn't make sense. Like my goal here isn't to actually refactor the app. The app is working just fine. My goal is to just have something to reflect and discuss and talk about. And actually get stuck in stuff. For some reason, I love like reflecting on this stuff. Because programming can be seem so simple, but actually like modeling things, organizing things is really, really, really hard. And how can you create concepts that makes it easier? And yes, having state and having UI makes it easier. Definitely. But what's env and what state? This is really, really tricky. So I don't think this is the right approach. Like, you see how easy, like I'm extreme, but you see how I get stuck in like what belongs where. And the whole point of this is that you should be able to, the whole point is that state should be able to instantiate without any hard dependencies to the environment. Because if I start mixing a lot of Firebase stuff in here, I can't test it, right? I can't test the actual state management unless I do like a full end-to-end integration test. And I'm also putting analytics here, which is actually pretty weird. Like that's not unique to the actual state management. So what I'm wondering is maybe this is why I like having this layer, because you really have to design an API for your state management, or like an interface at least. So the point here might be that, okay, we need to know about authentication state changes, and we should change that. But it should just be a subscription, right? We shouldn't have this logic in here. This is app specific. So this is the challenge of refactoring, definitely. It's like we're just copying over stuff. So this makes a lot of sense. All of this is like specific to, well, yeah, sorry. So this is specific to the environment, like how this actually runs. But then you have something like this. This is not specific to the environment. So what I'm wondering is the to actually get the benefits of the end. It's kind of like how we talked about UI. What is UI? What is UI state? UI state is state related to elements and styling in a component. And you can say that the environment shouldn't manage state as a rule of thumb. Because what happens then is there is no, this won't be here. This won't be here. Analytics won't be there. Yeah, I think that's what we're doing wrong. It's that everything's been so intertwined now that it's like copying it over makes it weird. So even mutation, we shouldn't have any mutational query or anything inside here. That should be in the actual state layer. This should just be this stuff. And await sleep shouldn't be here either. Okay, this is what we're doing wrong. Okay, this was a good conclusion. So, should not have mutation here. We need to create actual authentication. And the question is, like, where should that be? Because this goes to a different question, and that is, you can't really do anything without being authenticated. So this kind of brings me to a discussion that I wanted to get to. But let's just refactor this first. I'm going to create like, sorry. How should we do this? Let's just separate it first. I'm going to create another class called authentication state. And then we are going to, I'm going to copy everything. And then we're going to dissect what should actually be here. So we want mutation, but we don't want any of this stuff. Because this should depend on the actual, let's see, sorry. So depths here would be the actual authentication. Oh, authentication state from the environment. Sorry. Let's see. Oh yeah, and I'm calling that authentication state. Analytics needs to be here. And we want local storage. And let's see, no Firebase. We need to look at this state thing as well. I'm just going to clean it up first. Has previously signed in. And then listen to auth changes. That would actually be something we would do on authentication. So like deps.authentication on auth change or something. And then we would do something. And what we would do this stuff on auth subscribe authentication or subscribe or something. So oh my god, this is horrible. It's so complex. Like, where should the profile be subscribed to? Okay, I'm just gonna make it kind of work first. This is gonna look weird, but oh, what did I do? Oh, there we go. So the whole point is that when I'm subscribing, I might get a user or not. So this is going to be kind of the Firebase user. And this is going to be responsible for subscribing to the profile. And it's going to make the state change. It's going to do all of this stuff. But here we wouldn't like use Firebase collection. We would rather use something like, so we have, let's imagine we have something called this.storage. So profile doc would be this.storage get profile user UID. And then it would be, instead of on snapshot, yeah, why do we even have subscribe profile? We wouldn't have like snapshots or anything like that. We would just get the freaking profile. We wouldn't have any of this. And we will get the profile here. So this is a question in and of itself. Like, should the environment know about, yeah, we talked about this, like profiles and to-dos and all of this stuff. Or do I say like subscribe and then you pass in like profiles? This is the collection, which is translated to a Firebase collection, or it will be translated to an endpoint. If I did something else, oh my god. I think I might have to stop the stream soon. Anyways, so we're gonna write this subscribe. So we're gonna have our user here, blah, 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 blah. And if we don't have a user, Yeah, this is the proper way to do it. And then we have mutation here. Which is not going to do any of this stuff. It's just going to say await this dot authentication. Do we have authentication? Sorry, authentication dot sign in, or sign in Google, I guess would be the correct way to do it. And then we track sign in, and then we sleep here. And it would be the same here. Sign in anonymous. And then we would do the same here. Sign in test user. Blah, blah, blah. This is the right separation of concerns. And then our authentication would not have any authentication state, wouldn't have any of this stuff. It wouldn't care about this, not have this, no local storage. It will not change, wouldn't have analytics, only have Firebase, no profile. It would just have subscribe, and subscribe would take a callback that takes a maybe user, which I guess is user or no, I think. It doesn't take anything, and then it would basically be, it would just be that. Doop. Subscribe would be, oh, what did I do? Oops. Subscribe, and would just be the callback. And then we can, of course, return that, because this returns like a disposer, right? Unsubscribe. This is not a mutation. No sleep. Nothing like that. Just the pure. Nothing like that. Nothing like that. But this is a good check. Like it's, no, you shouldn't even listen to anything. It's the state that decides that. Wait, sign in Google. Cool. Coolio. And then there's a lot of stuff we don't need here. And in index, we don't need to pass analytics or local storage. Why is this complaining? Oh, I think it's because there's an issue inside here, which is fine. Okay, let's remove unused imports. Now, another problem is oh, sorry. let's see, authentication. Maybe they should just get the env. Like, there's no reason to pass all these individual things, but sign in anonymous, isn't that what I called it? Sign in anonymous. Okay. Anyways, so this is definitely the way it should be. Yeah, I want to just pass in env here. It's much easier. Yeah, let's just do that. Do we have like an env? Yeah, of course we have env. Do, 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 do. This and nice. Okay. No depths. Now the tricky thing is this authentication state, because it oh yeah, it has some errors here. Let's see. Profile. Okay, cool. Oh, and then sleep. It's fine. Nice. Okay. The other problem is that we can't have unions in classes. It's really annoying that there isn't like a good way to just say that this authentication state like is a union. You have to create this like crazy state machine concept. Do I have, let's see, Discord. So examples of that would be like here. You just have this session state, right? And you really just want the session state to have the properties of am I signed in or not? But the point is, if you're already signed in, you can't really sign in, and so on and so on. So like a technically sound way to do this is to have a proper state machine where you actually have you can have this like session state, but you expose it as an actual state machine. So the way this would look here is that we would expose authentication, but this would actually be this state machine. So it would be, let's see, authenticated, authenticating, or authenticated. So it wouldn't be like one class. It can be either of these classes, and each of them has oh, this is interesting. I haven't thought about it this way. The challenge though is that there's logic that isn't tied to any specific state, which is really annoying. It's almost like you want to say new authentication, but you want it to return a union, which just doesn't work. But maybe what you could do, I haven't thought about this, what if you could say authentication create, for example? And what you can do now is, let's see. Sorry, authentication state. Oh, don't we have it here? Oh, and there's a conflict. Anyways, we can explore it here. So what if we took this? I'm going to explore it right here. Let's see. Oh, do I have just 2 seconds? Oh, I have to go. But let's just try to finish this. Let's see. So imagine this is like app instead. New app. So you only have access to the actual app instance if you're authenticated, which is true. And let's call this like just state, which gets the environment and stuff like that. But you want this thing on off state change to be part of this thing called authentication. So what I'm wondering is there a way that you can say authentication and then you say authentication.create? No, this is not going to work. Oh, this is the whole problem. Like something has to drive these. Well, okay. So what you could do this. The problem is that this, sorry, authentication doesn't know. Yeah, this bothers me the hell out of me. I just don't think there is a good way to express this. Because what you get is like state. So you have to say state.authentication.state. And that's just because a class can't represent a union. And it bothers the hell out of me. So the problem here is that each of these states has to know about its outer state. So when you move to authenticated, you see this? Like it has the session state. It knows about its parent. So internally in each state, it changes the state. You see this? And I don't like that. I actually like this better because here we have the states but now it's like just an object. It's not a class, which I don't like either. Yeah, I'm gonna ask ChatGPT. Is there any way in TypeScript to make a single class instance represent a union? Not directly. Interface union. One class that narrows itself. Yeah, but this has private state, right? Oh, this is interesting. So what if that is oh, maybe that's the thing. Like you can't use properties, but you can use methods. Oh, tagged union. Yeah, no, this is the same. Um, but I like this. So it has private state, and then you can check is authenticating. Yeah, and I can't remember what these are. It's like I guess it's called narrowing methods. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So the point of a class is that if you do, okay, this is cool. I didn't know that. So with an object, you can just do this, right? So if you check if authenticating, you'll get the correct typing of the rest of the properties. But you can't do that with a class. But if you call is authenticating, that can use type narrowing, like the this is type of thing, to actually set these properties. Or internally. But why do you even need? Um, yeah, but it doesn't quite. No, but I think it makes sense. The only thing that doesn't quite make sense is that you would have sign in available at any time. So imagine this is sign in and this is authenticating. So if is authenticating is true, you can still sign in again if you want to do that. But I guess that's fine. Like it depends on how hardcore you want to go on state machines. While in the example I showed here, you can only sign in when you're actually unauthenticated. That's the beauty of this one. But you could like override it, I guess. Well, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna think about this, and then we're gonna finalize that refactor and get this example in, because I really want to nail this, because I think it's a valuable thing to have in an object-oriented world. It's so easy to express in a functional world because you just use an object. But in class-based world, this is hard to express. Okay, cool. I gotta jump. Thanks. Bye for now.